Hey, spin a little something. What you gonna do with a little money? Drop a little something. What you gonna do with a little money? Shake a little something. What you gonna do with a little money? What you gonna do with a little money? She dropping on a polo.
Play
No.
games and look at this. Your boy is in the newspaper. Look at me, I'm famous.
Wait, what is that title? College ends what?
What you know about me?
Let's read that title. College ends teen support program.
Look at this, your boy. My mom's been cleaning up. Like my mom keeps everything that we do, and she hit me up. She's like, "Oh, you have some stuff," and I went and I got and. Bro, I've been up in an Oregonian. I'm famous. They know about me. The first one when I was a freshman. The second one when I was a senior with a fresh cut. Ooh, you see that? Ooh. I was out here saving Jefferson. But
there you go.
We are back with Play No Games, the glorious podcast / show where we talk about everything dating, relationships, marriages, mental health, and everything else. The culture. Yo, I just want to start today off with I felt attacked. I don't think I can play this song.
Oh.
Yeah, I feel attacked. What do you call it? See, I thought I already had it up, but I didn't.
So now you're stalling.
Nice. Wait. Lyrics. So I'm gonna hit y'all with the lyrics. I wish I could add some music in. Hey, I'm hitting the piano. It says,
"Yikes,
yo, I'm a nice guy, but this I felt attacked." And before I even knew like the lyrics, like the song was catchy, I was like, okay, because I'm a guy that I will say this: I really like sad songs.
You like sad songs?
I do like sad songs. So. Lyrics go, nice guys finish last, you're running out of gas. Oh, this is Green Day. This is
Oh my God, you found the wrong one.
Wait, what's that nigga's name? Oh shit. Oh,
just put nice guys TikTok or something.
No. I like how I was reading. Wait. Oh, there we go. Okay. Here we go. It says, oh, here we go. Okay. Nice guys always finish last. Should have known that. Gave you my heart, and you fucked around and broke that. So sad. Pretty girls hurt you so bad. Girl, you played me. You did me so shady. You got me in my feelings. I can't trust lately. You so lame. Took me as a game. Say guys are dogs. Well, all girls are the same. Karma, where you at? You better have my back, because you know damn well I don't deserve that. Yo, that fucking hit me. Like, in like a more melody where, I don't deserve that. I'm like, life alert. This music video, fuck this music video, because it starts off by him by a dusty ass tree. Okay?
Oh my God.
And he's hurt.
Yeah, that TikTok took that song and made it a huge meme. Hey man, sometimes memes are like reality and like can be really deep and thoughtful. But that song is kind of silly. Even from like a nice guy perspective. Come on.
Okay, I'll be honest with you. This takes me back to the time when I was more chunkier, and it was Fat Robert, and he liked this girl, and they were friends, and he thought he had a chance, and he was like, "Oh, will you go out with me?" And she was like, pretty much in a nutshell, she's like, "You're too fat." And I just walking away, and then her leaving and being like, "Yo, I should have just took that shit." I was like, "I'll change my weight for you," and then she turned around and she was like, "So," and laughed, and then she told the whole fucking school. That's when I'm like, cue the fucking music, and I'm like, okay.
Oh.
Hey. Oh shit.
You're out here.
That's how fucking.
You're spitting.
That's how fucking hard I laughed when that fucking song came, because I wasn't ready for the lyrics. I wasn't ready for the music video. So anyway, we should definitely talk about this more on this simp episode.
Yeah, this could have gone better on the simp episode, but it is what it is. A good intro to this episode. Thank you for that.
Nice guys. Do finish slash, I believe it.
No one if you spit on your shirt.
Hey. Okay.
All right. Okay, what's our first topic of the day?
Boss
man.
You're too kind. Should we talk about it's because, well, since we're in a musical state, because it's all because of you, all because, and it's all because.
Isn't Neo an actor?
Oh, don't disrespect. No, Neil is a wonderful R&B artist, and he used to. Sad note, used to be one of my favorite artists. And actually, I do have the article on my, on my phone. I want to make sure I'm saying this stuff all correctly.
The king of the fedora.
While I'm looking that up, what do you know about Neo?
What about know about Neo? I know Neo is really good at wearing hats because he's bald as shit. And he was in that one movie about the what's that? About like the black airplane pilots in like the war. Red Tails, I think, is the name of the movie. Hold on.
And I definitely didn't see that movie.
Let me look at his discography.
Anywho, I found what I was looking for. So one of my favorite singers right now, I don't think he's putting out any content that I'm really like vibing with. So I'm like more old Neo. But the very first song he came out with, So Sick, I needed that. That was like my okay song. I was like, and I'm so sick of love song. But anywho, COVID-19, we gotta give COVID a high five because it saved this man's marriage.
For the time being.
You think for the time being, so just get people up to speed and things like that. So in this article, and I kind of heard about too, because I want to make sure I'm saying this, Neil says quarantine inspired him to work on his marriage with his estranged wife. So I'm going to work on giving backstory, because I just want to get straight into like the content of what I want to say. But him and his wife, so Neil's had a horrible like track record with finding love. And I'm not going to go through that. There's a whole...
So ironic considering he only makes love songs.
We don't need that. Anywho.
Miss Independent.
Well, we got vocals today. Continue.
I'm done after that one. It's all you.
So his prior, I think, fiance that he was going to get with, y'all have to correct me. I think I know this, but just backstory. I think something about her getting like her tubes tied or something like that, and she got her tubes tied, and they didn't end up getting into a relationship, and then he moved on to his then now wife, and a lot of people were throwing shade at him about like the backlash of like, oh, why would you do that? And then him and his wife are currently They have 2 kids together, and like they have like this blended family. But I was hearing through the grapevines, not from this article, just going through music and daily like news and things like that. I was hearing that they're breaking up, and I was like, that's fucking unfortunate. Like, and then Neo made a song with I think OG Genesis OT about pinky rings and I'm free, I'm Neo, like I don't need a woman. I was like, this song's trash. But the reason why I kind of want to bring up this article is because now they're back together. And
Mhm.
one of the quotes that I want to say is, he said this, I'll say this, when you're faced with a pandemic, you see people dying daily, a bunch of people dying all the time. It really puts things into perspective for you. He began, like, who's there for you, regardless of whatever. And I'm not talking love. Love is compartmentalized a lot of the times. I'm talking about unconditional love. That's the love that means I don't give a damn, rich or poor. Uh, don't nobody know. Nobody like you. Nobody give a damn. I love you. I have a handful of people like that. I had a handful of people like that on the face of this planet. So he was talking about that was like one of his motivators to get back together with his fiance. And there's another quote I want to pull from here, but I'll stop. So yeah, what are you feeling with what he's saying about like COVID allowed him to get opportunity to slow down to like uh, figure out what is precious to him.
Mhm. I mean, it makes sense if you look at it. Like, yeah, of course, in a time like this, you need those people that are gonna always be there and love you no matter what. But it's very convenient that, like, turns out the time when you're like locked in with someone, you respark that love that was originally there. Um, I don't know. That's why I say like I'll be interested to see if their relationship stays strong after everything cools down and life reopens, if they're still be together or if who want that freedom again.
Yeah, for me, as I'll just speak from it as being a fan before I drop some of that therapy, but it's like I'm not trying to be unbiased because his last 2 albums I really didn't fuck with, but it's like I'm at like a point. It's like, when do you start to like fault someone to be like, okay, this person didn't know what they had, and it took all of this for them to slow down to like assess to assess and figure out. And I think we kind of this might be a variation to like a clip that we've already talked about, but like, or no, we talked about this in the very first social distancing episode, like with Earl Thomas, where it's kind of like, yo, like, why does it take this much mental energy for people to slow down to like really focus on what's important? Where it's kind of like we're such a fast-paced society, and like, why does it take COVID where everyone's like cooped up in the house, like, oh, my wife actually makes breakfast for me every day. Wow, whoa, what is this?
Yeah, I think it has to do with the fact that life moves so quick. So COVID and being trapped inside allowed us to notice stuff and slow down a little bit. Um, so in that way, I could see that helping their relationship.
So here's the thing that I really zeroed in and targeted and about, and this is what the interviewer paraphrased. They said the 40-year-old then went to elaborate on how being stripped of external distractions gave him a new outlook on the problem he and Renee had been experiencing leading up to their decision to separate. External distractions.
What do you think that means? You think that means other women?
Yo, so I want to say work. Now, this is our second part to this, right? Distractions. That could be other women. That could be him focusing on his career. That could be him focusing on other things where I think we have to have a bigger conversation of what is the true essence of sacrifice? What's the true essence of partnership? because we have all these things pulling and vibing for our attention. But, you know, not to go on a longer tangent, but like just as much as, you know, moms have to have maternity leave to be with their kids and things like that, fathers and dads have to have, you know, that other side, you know, paternity leave too for them so they can raise a family. Where if we really look at this and strip this down, human interaction is the most richest thing that we have while we're on this planet. Like our relationship is so important. So of course we're going to go through the things where we disagree, where how we obviously know Sakura is a horrible character and Hinata's way better. But but you see where I'm getting at with that, where it's kind of like,
Yeah. No, I see where you're getting with that.
So what do you think we could, you know, do in preference? Oh boy, you see this fresh haircut. But what do you think that we could do to like limit those distractions, or like what are some of the things that you think that are going to be some of your distractions?
That's interesting. I think it takes a lot of mental maturity and like an understanding, you know, let's say at the end of the day, to just like pause and be like grateful for what you have in the moment and what you have, like, you know, I think a lot of people take for granted stuff that comes daily, whether that's, you know, having someone next to you when you wake up, or I don't know, having friends you can rely on in tough times or stuff like that. I think people take that for granted until it changes. So I think just being able to be mentally mature and kind of be appreciative for that. What about you? What do you think?
For me, um so like as a therapist, you kind of have to go through and work through your demons while you're in grad school, talk about the things that activate you, the things that don't activate you. And I think that kind of work should be in all that should happen in high school. Like so you know like your strengths and weaknesses, and like external distractions. I know one thing for me is like working, where like I have to work on not being such like a workaholic, because I'm trying to get to this place where I'm like, okay, if I have this, if I'm Future Robert's able to do all these things, he's able to, you know, donate. He's able to help all these, help someone else realize their dreams. He's able to, you know, buy his mom a house, do, you know, give his friends a loan, all these different things. Where sometimes I forget like being in the present. So I know that's something I know I have to worry about, and that's the external distraction beyond, because we've talked about cheating on here, but just I think for here we'll just talk about just like those personal internal distractions, or like it could be even also like knowing those things about you could make you a better partner.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Where I'll even throw into this, where something that I'm working on when it comes to, you know, external distractions, of knowing when to I don't want to say validate, but being able to express understanding, but I'm not going through that, where I'm like, okay, how can I de-escalate this situation when I feel so passionately about something, where I'm not minimizing what I think they are saying or anything like that, because I may feel they are in the wrong, but if I shut them down completely in like relationship world, there's going to be a disconnect, where I still want to hear their gripe and their complaint, because it matters, because I want to feel like they're heard, versus like, okay, I want to be heard about this. So it's always like, for me, like that's always been like a hard balance. And are you following me?
A little bit.
Okay, let me see if I can break it down like this. So one of the things I'm trying to work on with like partners, and you know, whom or we'll say people in general, being
Okay.
they have said something that I dislike, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, because I know how I am very passionate about stuff, being able to express my passion in a way that's easy for them to digest, where I'm not drowning out. I hear, or they have a perspective, but being open to hearing that perspective and be like, okay, this is where they're coming from, but not saying like, but this is what's going on, and this is what I need you to understand. Because once I like hatch that off, I feel like people start to listen less.
No, that's very true. I think I'm in a conflict resolution class
Mm.
right now. And the most important thing I've learned is that as long as people feel like they're being heard and like they're getting something out of it, um, that's the easiest way to resolve any conflict. People just
Mhm.
want to be heard and like at a level be understood.
Understanding is the one of the most unifying things, and then that will also lead into compromise. And a master negotiator knows they're not going to get everything. So, um, I definitely lost what I was originally going to bring up. But what are something do you think guys can do, and just from a standpoint, something that they can work on each day to work on not having these external distractions be a thing? You know, do we gotta do some push-ups? You know what I'm saying? What do we gotta do in the mental gym? Okay, all
Oh
right.
my God, put that
I
down.
ooh, I ain't got no gym membership, but I'm still a little rags. Ooh, you see, I'm swole.
Um, what do men need to do
You need to-
to cut distractions and appreciate what they have? Having goals, I think, is really important mentally,
Mm,
whether that's career or life, family goals. That's what's helped me. Having big goals for myself has always kept me away from like distractions, just being like, I don't need that. I'm shooting for something.
mm.
Um, that's what I'd say. What about you? What do you think? Is it push-ups? Is that the goal to everything?
uh, Push-ups that lead to being content, where um, being like, I think J. Cole said this the best. I believe it's in like Love Yours Truly, but he's talking about there's always going to be, for heterosexual dudes, there's always going to be a badder bitch. There's always going to be a faster car, a nicer home. Um, and like, when is it going to be enough? Where it's kind of like, I'm willing to settle with this person. I'm going to work with the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I think being able to, really sit down with being content, and then also being able to have like check-ins with yourself where, you know, I'm not able to provide for my person, or I'm not doing these things, and that stuff hurts. And like, I think it's big for guys. You got to admit your faults and when you fail,
Yeah,
because that leaves room for growth. Because what happens when you hit the bottom of the chasm? There's nowhere else for you to go, but there you go, up. And we have to break down this toxic masculinity thing that guys uh, uh, are lead all the way, and they have all these answers, and they're supposed to lead a family. No, like, in this new family structure that we have, like, it's important that you are leveraging things with your partner and
definitely.
knowing when to take control of a situation and knowing when to step down. That's like the ultimate form of leadership. And yeah.
Absolutely. I always respect the leaders who bring in other people that know better than they do
Mm.
for certain aspects. That's why, good head coaches have great assistant head coaches.
Yeah, very true, very true. Like, what I notice a lot in like the therapy realm when I work with a lot of guys is they come in, they got their chest all pumped out, and they're like, "Oh yeah, my work brought me here. It told me I gotta go talk about stuff." And like, usually around like session 3 or 4, like, we get into like talking about childhood and things like that, and they deem me as a safe individual. Like, breakdowns. Like, I'm collecting male tears, and I can sell them on the internet for anyone who wants them. And like, um, there's a big yearning for guys to like be accepted, and I just want to connect with males and just say, like, it's okay to not know. It's okay that you're not providing, or you had these big aspirations, you didn't get it. And it's kind of like, we have this facade that we have to put on for. And
Yeah.
like, just remember participating with that a lot in high school, because I want fit in a little bit more. Um, but like, why do you think it's so much harder to get this message out rather than, you know, the unification one that we're talking about right now? Why do you think it's so easier for people to jump on the bandwagon of toxic masculinity? Woo woo.
I think it's just kind of set into our culture as males. I think you're kind of, especially from friends growing up, you know, you're taught not to no, taught you're not taught not to
I'm affecting you.
I hate you.
Mm,
To like, you know, to whine, to cry, to do that stuff. I mean, even like in my own family, my
mm,
dad grew up telling me like, you know, men don't cry. So, you know, that kind of it hurt me in a way because like I would like subside some of my feelings, and as I've gotten older, I realized like that's bullshit. Like you should just like, you know, you should laugh and you should whatever. You should also be able to cry and let out your emotions. So I think it's just put in a lot of cultures and just across like most cultures that like men are supposed to be this way. They're supposed to, you know, not show real emotion and just like go to work and make money.
mhm. I always tell guys that I work with that true maleness, true masculinity is you define that. You define what that looks like. Is that if that's you staying at home tending to the kids, then do that. Or if that's you, building a Fortune 500 company, or if that's you both sharing the power, like you define what masculinity means to you, and then true masculinity, like true essence, like the foundation of it, is truly when you combine and merge your manliness with your emotions. Like once you do those things, you're like unstoppable because you're going to be able to be more attentive to your partners and then attentive to your kids, or be able to we talking about conflict resolution. I don't have to end this with fighting. Like it can be a last resort, but I'm like, all right, it doesn't have to be so volatile.
Yeah.
So those external distractions that we were talking about, it comes with starting from within. And just to kind of like slightly wrap this up, where it's kind of like I'm glad that Neo was able to, awareness is the first step to any change, everlasting change you have. But I'm glad COVID. Are some winners in COVID, or other people like Neo who are realizing that these people in this industry don't care about me. I don't think he's doing this. I need to have multiple women thing. It's kind of like, who's going to remember you while you're here? That type of stuff. Who are the people who really care about you?
Definitely.
So
This topic, the next topic, it's a little more for the ladies. So, you know,
ooh,
to all our probably one female listener, you're going to love this.
and two guys talking about it.
Of course, that's the only way we can do it. So I alerted you about this, so you're caught up. So to catch up, anyone listening, the Call Her Daddy situation with Barstool Sports, really interesting, really juicy. So if you don't know, Call Her Daddy is actually a pretty big podcast. When all this news broke out, it actually hit number one on the Apple podcast. It was above the Joe Rogan Experience
Oh,
because yeah, and essentially Call Her Daddy is a similar format to what you and I do, but it's with two girls and they just talk about guys they've slept with and other female raunchy topics. They're both it's hosted by Sophia and Alex, both very beautiful women. Um,
oh, oh, you don't
yeah.
say, huh?
Oh yeah, they're great. And but they got into a little controversy because so it all started when they first got picked up by Barstool, I believe a little over a year ago. They recorded 4 podcasts just themselves, and then Dave Portnoy, who's the founder and president of Barstool, found them and was like, "We want to give you a platform." I think they were going to pay them like $70,000 each to do it, which they were cool with. And they did it. They got pretty big. They have a really strong female following. And then like a couple months ago, episodes stopped airing because of contract disputes. So what happened is Sophia, the black-haired, the brunette, Sophia, she's dating a guy named Peter Nelson, who's they've titled him Suit Guy.
Okay.
So Suit Guy, was kind of talking to her about like, oh, he's the head of sports entertainment at HBO. So he's like a big deal. He's a suit. And he's telling them how like, industry standards, you guys are being underpaid. You guys, should look for other outlets to like make more money or whatnot and have your own IP. So their plan, the two girls, was to they were already starting to talk to other distributors for their podcast, and then contract wise, they had to meet with Barstool before they could end it. So they had a rooftop meeting, and in that rooftop meeting, Barstool and Dave Portnoy, the president, gave them a contract no one else could match. It was like $500,000 for each of them, and they get their own IP after a year. So after a year, if they don't want to stay with Barstool, they can go just have their own, like Joe Rogan, have their own podcast and just post it. So they own the podcast and all the rights. And Alex, which is the blonde haired one, she was down to do it, but Sophia, she probably wanted to, but she couldn't take the offer because apparently her boyfriend, Peter Nelson, Suit Guy, stuck his neck out a lot to get them contracts from other companies. So to protect him, she couldn't do it. And then a rift happened between their relationship, between Sophia and Alex. And now, Call Her Daddy is Single Dad Edition. Alex is the only member right now doing episodes for Call Her Daddy. And Sophia we don't know where Sophia is. And we don't know if she'll be back or I think they're actually looking for another person to join Alex. But right now it's Single Daddy Edition.
So you mean to tell me this riff is all over some peen, huh?
Suit Guy, yeah.
It's all over some peen. Ladies, how many times have you shown up your friend for some peen? Some late night D. So you mean to tell me you gonna cost yourself $500K for some peen? Hopefully you don't sign the prenup.
Yeah, I don't know. The way I see it, for one, Peter Nelson, he's an ugly fuck. That dude is disgusting. He's 37 too, so he's an old man. And I'm sorry, anyone 37 or older. I don't see how he's worth you hurting your own career and your friendship with the person you built like a little empire of Call Her Daddy with. What just for Suit Guy and all this? I don't know. I hope that they can repair stuff and that Call Her Daddy can go back to Alex and Sophia because that feels like the way it should be. But
are you listening?
I've listened to a couple of like their things. I'll be honest, I'm not a frequent listener, but I know a lot of I have a lot of friends who are girls that really like their podcast.
And their podcast, from what I watched, they're talking about sex, correct?
Oh yeah.
And they're talking about
stuff you wouldn't say like is ladylike, which I think that's why they have such a strong following with like young females.
So I have a hot take, right? This is just my hot take. Where what I heard, empowering, do that shit. I would be curious what would happen if one of them got in, or maybe because I haven't watched enough, it was kind of like, where is this going? Where we're talking about some of this and some of this, a lot of these things of like their experiences, and like, I'm not trying to say this creates, okay culture, but okay, we're creating more fuckboys. Where it's kind of like you have two females, gorgeous females, right? And I have my home fuckboy. So I think this will help if I will say this is how fuckboys are created. Fuck guys, whatever. Guys, when we grow up, we're told to like, oh, hide your feelings, hide your emotions, and then we find a girl that we like, and we are our truest self, right? And this is not on women. This part is not on women. It's not on women. How a woman turns that person down starts their fall from grace. That's how we get more futures. We get more.
For the streets.
Exactly. They were like, if she doesn't love me, guess what? Demon time. And like then they become these unavailable emotionless bastards because they're still scorned from that one emotional laceration on their heart. And it starts this fuckboy cycle. And then girls are like, guys, they never want to. And like,
Interesting.
and the reason why I say this is because the 2 episodes that I watched and I make sure that I was being impartial is kind of like, I hope they are talking to their female listeners of like what is like what's after this. Where it's like, I'll give you an example. Beyonce, hopefully if the Beehive comes, we'll get positive traction. where
Queen.
like Beyonce makes a song about single ladies, and you know what she did after she did that song? She went to her husband. So my thought is just like they're talking about all these adventures, which I'm totally 100% down with. You know, sex positivity, but it's kind of like I don't know, and I hope that you watch more than me. Where it's kind of like, do they ever talk about what's life after, doing a triple bypass sexual related? I'll let you like.
I haven't watched enough, but I don't think it goes that deep. I think the standpoint they're standing is wow, that was terrible. That didn't make any sense. I think from their standpoint, it's just entertainment. They're just doing entertainment, which is fair. But I think a lot of people take that entertainment and then want to replicate that lifestyle. And then, I mean, yeah, you can blame that on fuckboys, but also I feel like, you can also say men should be more emotionally intelligent. But
no, I know. I agree. Like it's 100% on men, not 100% on men. But I just wanted to throw out to you my fuckboy theory because.
So you think that call her daddy is bad for the culture?
I don't want to say it's bad for the culture. I think it's definitely needed for the culture, especially for women, because there's a lot of women who are ashamed, who are like, oh, I can't do this or not. I'm like, no, I like my girls freaky. So, how did Usher say it? I want a lady in the streets, but a freak in the sheets. Yeah.
There you go.
But like, I just wonder if their podcasts or like the content ever like has a standpoint from like empowerment, because let's just use a positive female role model. Let's say AOC. I'm trying to think of some Michelle Obama. Like people idolize and look up to them. But I shouldn't say Michelle Obama. I'm pretty sure they have a higher following. But I'll use the Kardashians. People will listen more to the Kardashians than Michelle Obama. And
I'm right.
That like you have the multi-face god in Chloe. Did she change her face again?
That was terrifying.
Yo, she's like a demigod. She's like, oh, guess what? I'm new. And it's kind of like that is more impressionable to female culture, where it's like I'll even play devil's advocate for dudes, where when we watch videos from Rhodey to from OTG Genesis, from all these different people, where you're like, oh yeah, I want jewelry, I want all these different things, and it perpetuates toxic masculinity. And I guess I'm just looking at it from like a deeper standpoint. That's why we created this shit, where it's kind of like we'll definitely talk about the things that aren't becoming of us, but we're also talking about the ladder of like how can we push this forward. And there's going to be a day where we're not always single, or it's almost kind of like also taking it even a step further when J. Cole's talking to Lil Pump. The listeners you have right now are going to grow the fuck up.
That's true.
So what you have to be able to be versatile. J. Cole can make a song about frivolous cars, money, women, but he's also talking about conscious shit, where it's kind of like I hope they're talking about more other shit than just sexual related things, because they have a responsibility, I think, because they I feel like when it comes to that exotic stuff, and hopefully I'm using the right word, but I feel like it's more impressionable because after 2 Michelle Obama speeches, people are like, I'm motivated, and then they'll get depressed, and you know what happens when they're depressed? They'll turn on daddy's girls, and I butchered it. And they're like, I'm gonna try that. And then yeah, it's just I'm just thinking it from a big macro level. Hopefully I'm just bro. I did my research with the sauce.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, you definitely have a point. But all I can say is fuck suit guy, and let's get Call Her Daddy back, eh? I don't like this whole single daddy stuff. No one wants to hear Alex talk to herself. Imagine like I'm up here, you're not here. I'm like, yeah, go.
Yeah, you're like,
You shouldn't masturbate 5 times a day. Like, no one wants to listen to that. Come on.
You're like, you don't get this guy up out of here. No, and like, so glad that you this was a topic too, because like, it's just more of like why we do this. Where like we want to be able to talk, we want to be versatile. We want to talk about success,
Absolutely.
failures, and all in between, because we want this to grow with us. Because there's gonna be a time where Sauce Kasi is gonna be locked up, and we ain't talking about going to jail. We talking about he gonna have a nice young lady. So
that's hilarious,
right?
Hopefully,
yeah. We're gonna hopefully this grows and it's something that we can continually do no matter where we go in our career paths. Where playing on games would be something like, yo, like this is what we do. So it'll grow with us.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we covered our main 2 topics. Here's a fun one. Did you watch the second half of the Rick and Morty season 4?
I got up to the point. I think I'm behind 2 episodes.
Okay.
I think I'm behind 2 episodes. Hit me though.
What, you're on episode like 8?
Something like that. I can't remember where they were at, but I'm a Rick and Morty person. Hit me with it though.
Oh, just curious. Like, did you see like the vat of acid episode?
Oh, hiding the acid?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that episode is genius. That's an amazing episode. And you can even see. Oh, here, spoiler alert! Big spoiler alert! Banner, whatever. Like spoilers, but like relationship wise, you saw that in that scene when like Morty finds that girl, and like he no longer wants to go back in time, even when like after the airplane crashes, and he has the option to just go back. Yeah. Instead, he grabs his phone to call for help. And then of course Jerry does the Jerry thing, the most Jerry thing.
Jerry, bro. Oh,
that's Jerry, dude. Like you want to be mad at Jerry, but you can't because he's Jerry. Like, that episode is top 10, I think, greatest Rick and Morty episodes. It's up there. And then you should watch the season finale. The season finale, really good. Okay. It touches at the heartstrings.
Oh, that's what I think. I kind of cheated because I think I watched the next episode after that because I think Rick and his daughter, Rick has relations with the planet, and
it's the one after that.
Okay, yeah. That's where I left off.
But even that dude, he gets a planet pregnant.
Like I love that creativity. Yeah.
And I saw you posted like the season even had future references. You love that, didn't you?
I was like, how dope do you have to be? Oh, and he had Elon Musk or Tusk in there. I was like, how great do you have to be that these creators were dope enough to get Elon Musk? They were able to get fucking Future Hendrix. They were able to get him to sign on. He's like, of course you can use my music in this episode. My goodness.
It's an amazing show. And I actually really like season 4. I thought season 4 was really strong.
I was actually looking on the internet, and this is not just for the show. It's like, random like YouTube tunneling. They were just like, oh, people are raging or whatever about Rick and Morty, about how season 3 wasn't good. I thought each season with Rick and Morty has gotten like good, and like it's for whatever the time period is going on, because even in the very first 3 episodes there were a lot of things talking about race in Rick and Morty that I thought I was just like yo fucking gay. So I can only imagine what season 5 is going to look like. Hopefully they come back for another season, because I think Rick and Morty is like for the culture type of the show that to get people to think more deeply. Like this is like
there's a bunch of like underlining innuendos and like storylines. in the show. Like you just have to watch YouTube and like go on Reddit, and you can see like all the hidden messages.
Like Rick and Morty is 100% to like it. Like it's flipping the whole concept of like The Simpsons, The Family Guys, those type of shows, and putting it on its head and poking holes in it, and even in itself, like I'll even say this because I want to get to the whole Morty thing too. When they were doing like the bank heist shit and how like bank heists are like stupid, like are stupid movies, I said, oh my freaking God. He's like, no matter what, there will always be a twist. And I was so fucking pissed because I was like, I could never watch Bank Heist ever again. He's like, there's.
Yeah, and it's like if you know like who makes it, all those like twists and like intertwining storylines comes from Dan Harmon. Dan Harmon is like a comedic genius, and then Justin Roiland is the one that does all the voices and like adds like humor and whatnot. But yeah, those two guys together, it's a phenomenal show.
Phenomenal show. So to get in about the acid, so when I watched that, I felt so bad for Morty, and like I'm so mad Rick did that to him to teach him a lesson, like, like Rick in his own self deserves like a whole fucking video because like one of my favorite Rick and Morty episodes is Pickle Rick, and at the end of it, the therapist like really breaks him down, and he's like, "Fuck," and like, yo, like as a therapist, yo. Like that's how we like break some of like the most genius minds. Where like my mom always says this, I'd rather have all the common sense in the world than be the smartest person in the room. And like that came full circle when I watched the episode when she like emotionally broke this person down who killed people for nothing or killed them for sitting on their toilet, and he was like, "Fuck." That's how fucking therapy is. It even brought fucking Rick to his like, I should talk to my doctor. Like this matters to me.
The therapist makes a return actually in the last episode.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, you'll like it.
Okay.
Trust me, you'll really like the last episode.
Okay, this is to be continued because if it's that good, this is to be continued. Mm-hmm. And yeah, okay, but last point, Morty's a total simp. Morty, I'm happy. I'm glad that he manned up and did what he did for that piece. And like, maybe I'll even save this breakdown for like when I ever see everything full circle. But like him, yeah, that meant like him not going back. Like that's the true essence. So I see what you did here today. Here, look at you. Look at my counterpart. We coming with the sauce today. So that's all I got in the tank. So I gotta watch the next episode then.
Yeah, definitely watch the next episode.
All right. Maybe the next time we'll be in a studio from I don't know where, but we'll be filming.
You can touch each other and whatnot.
Yo, 6 feet. Anyway, I think this next time we'll definitely probably be in the studio next time.
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah. So as always, this has been Play No Game with your wonderful host, the handsome Casanova, Rob Gill.
His co-host, slightly less but still somewhat handsome, Koss.
Don't speak curses upon yourself. Ladies,
still handsome but slightly less handsome, Koss.
Ladies, he's single. He's single, ready to mingle.
You're single too, Robert. Don't act.
Whoa. Didn't they tell you as a therapist, you can't have a happy relationship? You have to sacrifice your happiness for others to have happiness. That's how I save marriages.
You and my sister both. That's hilarious.
I had to make the ultimate sacrifice. When I think it's like Frodo throws the ring into like the mountain. That's my hope. Sizzles. It's gone. Mm-hmm. I joke, I kid, people. I joke, I kid. But who's gonna watch anyway? We need more subscribers. Subscribe. Share the video, like,
do all that jazz. We love you.
Yes, we're
Big
trying to make a
kisses.
difference. All right, man. I'll see you next time.
You gon' get me in some trouble, ooh, damn you so fine, I should double you. Baby, I came here to win, ain't taking no L's, I ain't come to lose. I'm rocking come take our songs, oh, that's your friend, she should come with you. Chase, 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 chase. On me, for me, chase, 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 chase.